get him, do the housework, and then come back at night after I put him down to bed to do some more work. And if you're a millennial career woman like me, you're probably familiar with that. You're probably familiar with the constant grind, with the hope that maybe you'll be able to climb the corporate ladder and maybe it'll all be worth it in the end. And I had put in so much work because I thought I was helping out the company. I thought I was helping out my colleagues. I thought that it was all for a great cause, only for the company to dump me. Hi, my name is Vicky. I'm a registered pharmacist living in Toronto, Ontario. That is in Canada, for all of us who don't live in North America. And I have been working as a clinical pharmacist and as a medical science liaison for multiple pharmaceutical companies over the past 15 years of my career. And I had just gone through 2 layoffs in the span of 12 months and a burnout. 2025 kind of feels like someone just set fire to my life. But maybe at the end of this, there'll be room, there'll be space for new things to grow. Kind of like after a wildfire, you see all the new seedlings and saplings grow. At least that's the hope that I have for my life. And if you're watching this, you probably can resonate with me in terms of, starting over or being slightly traumatized by the corporate world. I certainly am. And I'll tell you about why I think corporate America or corporate North America is really designed to cause you to burn out. And that'd be another separate video that I'll make about that. This video is really to chronicle what got me here, what got me to this place. Why am I saying no to corporate world? No more. So I started out my career as a clinical pharmacist. That meant a lot of schooling. I did one undergraduate degree, one undergraduate degree, another undergraduate degree to get my pharmacy degree, and then what we call a post-bachelor PharmD degree. That meant I went back to school to get my Doctor of Pharmacy after I was already an accredited and working pharmacist. I worked in community as well as hospital setting. And, initially it was great. I really do love patient care. I loved making a difference in people's lives. I loved the satisfaction of knowing that I did something to help this person along. I think a lot of us went into healthcare for that. But reality quickly slaps us in the face. And I could see the writing on the wall. And if you've ever paid attention to Canadian healthcare, you might know that we're in a bit of a crisis right now. And we're in crisis, because we're just so stretched thin. We just don't have enough people to do the things that needs to be done, and there's more and more bloating of middle management because CEOs runs the hospital and not medical doctors. And so things are getting done in a way that just doesn't make sense. This might be a topic I explore in a future video about why I left healthcare. But I could see the writing on the wall, and it was really affecting me negatively as well. I used to come home very, very stressed because, I just sort of spent 8 hours running around and putting out fires, and not literally, but, figuratively. And, there was an experience I had where I was not the overnight pharmacist, but the one pharmacist for a 600-bed hospital. And that was one of the, and I used to do that regularly. That used to be a regular thing where, one pharmacist taking care of 600 patients was a normal thing in a large academic hospital over the weekend. It shouldn't be, but it was normalized. And so I could see the writing on the wall. I could I could see the writing on the wall, and I could see that that was where healthcare was headed towards. And I didn't want to be a part of that. And so I left to do what's called industry. That would be pharmaceutical sciences. It meant I was working for a larger pharmaceutical company in helping patients get access to medications or educating clinicians on those medications. I was a what's known as a medical science liaison. So I would liaise with the clinicians and then bring back the insights, and then try to figure out things like how do we best allow patients to have access to these medications? What are the roadblocks? What are the challenges? Who are the best patients slash candidates for this medication? Because not everyone will be. And again, I had so much faith in the company. I thought I was like doing something that was benefiting patients. And for a lot of patients, it was very beneficial. But then the longer I worked in the corporate setting, the more the veneers started to crack, and I could just more and more see and feel like I was just another cog in the machine, another cog in this corporate world matrix. So the first crack came when I was sexually harassed by an ex-colleague, and human resources did nothing. It was a he said, she said situation. And they were essentially like, well, we could find no wrongdoing based on, what you said and what he said. So we're just going to truck along. And that was very, very disappointing. And then, people started gossiping and the workplace turned kind of toxic. So I had to leave. I quit my job, and then a few months later, I started working for a larger global pharmaceutical company. And this was right around the time of COVID. And I was actually working on a monoclonal antibody for COVID. And again, it was great at the beginning. I had managers who were so supportive. They were really, all about empowering women and letting me do what I need to do to take care of my family. I had a young child. He's still a young child. And yeah, things were great for a while. And then I started seeing what I could only be termed as corporate bullshit. As a medical science liaison, we often are privy to a lot of data, trial data, before they're released to public. And the team was saying, hey, we can see that this is suboptimal, or, not as, not the kind of data that we want to see. But yet, people from global, people from way higher up were still dressing it up as this miraculous cure, that it's going to be great for patients. And it would have been great for patients if, the virus hadn't mutated as much as it did. And, we were really, really behind on the science. And, a lot of us saw the writing on the wall yet again. And I went to my manager and I asked her, hey, is this something I need to be worried about? Do I need to worry? Should I look for something else? And I was always getting the same answers, which is don't worry about it. We'll take care of you. And then, not even a week after that, in the meantime, I was setting up meetings with my clinicians to talk to the country lead about vaccines and how do we optimize our vaccine strategy so that more patients can be helped, things like that. And not even a week after that, the entire team got gutted, including me. And it was my first mass layoff. And what felt so wretched was that I had spent so much time doing the right thing for that company. I was always the person to say yes, to grin and bear it, and take on the extra workload. My child was young at that time, and I used to wake up, do some work, put him to school, and then come back, do a full shift of work, then go and get him, do the housework, and then come back at night after I put him down to bed to do some more work. And if you're a millennial career woman like me, you're probably familiar with that. You're probably familiar with the constant grind, with the hope that maybe you'll be able to climb the corporate ladder and maybe it'll all be worth it in the end. And I had put in so much work because I thought I was helping out the company. I thought I was helping out my colleagues. I thought that it was all for a great cause, only for the company to dump me unceremoniously, along with about 80 other people. Just completely blindsided us. And it was after also, telling us that there was nothing to worry about. Yeah. And at the same time, I had driven myself to a complete burnout. And so, the silver lining was that I also needed a lot of time to rest because the burnout had me on my butt for months. I was one of those people who couldn't even get out of bed because that was how bad my burnout was. And then after a few months, dusted myself back up again, a little bit bruised, but still hoping for the best. And I got another job at a different pharmaceutical company, also as a medical science liaison. Ooh, this just dropped down. Still as a medical science liaison. And I was promised all of those things at the beginning, about how they do take work-life balance really seriously, that I'm going to get all the support I need, that like my manager is so helpful and, will support me any way they can. Yeah, that didn't last long. Within months, I had 2 changes of management. The workload increased. The workload doubled, actually. And I was given very unrealistic expectations and goals. And I was so stressed trying to meet those goals that my body just yet again gave out on me. I started having panic attacks and heart palpitations. I felt like panic attacks when I wasn't having panic attacks. I was crying every other day, just silently feeling so trapped. I was feeling so trapped and hopeless that I'm stuck in a place that I didn't want to be. Stuck in a place that was promised to be different. And then when I brought this up to upper management about how this is not sustainable for me, they promised, we're going to try to take care of this. We're going to, work together with you to come up with solutions. This is what we want. Yeah. And the solution for that, their way of working together with me, was to fire me a week later. So that yet again, another, corporate punching bag. But this time I find myself oddly relieved. People say one door closes, another opens. And maybe all of this in the span of 12 months was meant for me to see that perhaps corporate isn't the way to go. That maybe there is something out there that's more for me, or maybe not. Maybe I'm just floundering, just like the rest of, everyone. And maybe I don't know. I don't know. This channel is really supposed to be a place where I will explore what life outside of corporate career ladder is going to look like. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying. Like, I can understand starting over at 28, but I'm 38 now, and I guess it's better than 48. And for that, I am grateful. But it really 2025 has just been a roller coaster. And I did feel like I got emotionally gotten the shite kicked out of me. And maybe there are lots of people like me out there. And if you're watching thus far, thank you. And maybe together in 2026, we'll see what's new for all of us. I have a theory that corporate world is designed to burn people out and then discard them. And that'll be a video coming later. And if that's the world that we're living right now, should that be something to be celebrated? And then yet, I know, we live in a like capitalism, America, Canada, North America, it's hard to escape this vortex. But somehow, we got to find a way forward. And I don't know what that looks like for me. And again, if you're watching this far, thank you so much. Maybe we'll be able to find this out together.